Alrighty, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Envision weekly live webinars. My name is Burju, VP of Customer Success here at Canvas GFX. I'll be guiding you through today's session. Just keep in mind these interactive sessions are designed to guide you through the key tools and workflows available in our Envision portal, as well as our Envision Creator applications. And my goal is to enable you to create and manage work instructions more efficiently and seamlessly, utilizing these webinars and understanding some of the functionalities that you need to use in your documentation. And today's session is all about creating animations and working with layers to create clickable buttons for the end users to consume the right information during the consumption of these documents. So just to go through our agenda for today, we will be spending around 20 minutes, first 20 minutes in a live demo of key features, and I will reserve 10 minutes at the end for questions if there are any in the chat. So feel free to drop your questions or feel free to interrupt and ask anytime. Before we get started, I would like to remind you that this is just one of the Envision webinar series weekly. We are here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, covering new topics and helping you to get the most of your trial experience. All right, so let's jump into our weekly session. For those who are brand new to Canvas Envision platform, I'm going to just to show you guys a couple of things before we dive into Canvas Envision. So as you guys can see from the first session in my slide, Creator application is browser-based and it has a highly intuitive and visual UI. It's a multi-purpose authoring tool to create documentation, any kind of digital step-by-step work instructions in our platform. And our customers can also take advantage of our SDKs to embed the Creator application into other systems such as PLM, MES, even learning management systems. In the case of PLM integration, the CAD data can be directly imported from the single source of truth, and the Creator can be notified if there are any changes to the models. And our platform, in the midsection of my slide, as you guys can see, our platform also includes an easy-to-manage document management portal with admin privileges, user settings, document permissions, review, and sharing features. Like the Creator application, this portal can be also embedded into other systems, allowing users to access documents from a widely used systems like MES or ERP. And on the last section in my dialog boxes here, and we have documents during the creation as well as after the creation can be consumed, can be viewed from an interactive browser-based app, browser environment featuring customizable dialog prompts, 3D models, and layered actions like we're going to go through today to be able to pick and choose the type of data you want to consume in the document. This viewer application can also be embedded into various digital threads in any organization. At the bottom, as you guys can see, we offer the SaaS version of Envision through AWS and or Azure private clouds or government cloud services. And alternatively, we can also host Envision on our customers' private cloud or on-premise infrastructure. So I'm going to jump back to my environment right now, Envision environment live section of our webinar. Let me just pull this down quickly. There you go. So here is an assembly instruction document. We have as you guys can see, the first page of the document, we have a master page that has a couple of pages that has been created to define the template, and the pages are linked to the master page with the right click, and then selecting the right master page for each page while we're defining. And this first step of this assembly instruction has an animation, and for our customers to create animation, the first step is importing a CAD data. Step file or any other major CAD application file format can be inserted into Canvas environment. If you guys join our previous sessions, I went through this step. If you go click on the 3D model, insert 3D model from either Home tab or the Insert Ribbon tab, you can import these models into your Canvas environment. And once that 3D model is in Canvas Envision, you can go into the 3D edit mode, or if it's already an animation, you can click on the animation contextual ribbon tab and click on the edit animation feature to be able to go and see the animation. So let's step back and click on 3D data over here. I have an option in here that I bring this assembly as a 3D model, and you guys can see the contextual ribbon tab will show as a 3D model. And then if you click on the 3D model, edit 3D model tab over here, Envision is going to show you the 3D properties on the left-hand side and the assembly tree. This is a pretty simple assembly. It has, if you guys remember, if you do Control A of all the parts in your assembly, you could see how many parts you have in this assembly in total. In our case, is 99. So we have that many, parts in this assembly. Again, it's not a complicated assembly, but it has a couple of sub assemblies that we're going to use to be able to create some of the steps in our step-by-step instructions. So from the 3D ribbon tab, if you go into the Edit 3D View page, you need to click on the Create icon, Create ribbon tab, and then on the right-hand side, you have the animation mode. If you click on that, this is what you will see as our animation timeline at the bottom. It's a time-based animation timeline we work with, and we have specific keys that you can add it to timeline to guide these simulations between the views that you have inside of Canvas Envision. So one thing that is important, you will see in the animation timeline just below it, some of the keys, they will be grayed out. They will not be activated if you don't select a part or multiple parts to be able to use these keys inside of our animation timeline. So if they are grayed out, it means that we need to select a part to make them active in the view. One key that you will see, the third key on the left-hand side will be active. That's our camera key. Camera key is basically your perspective from the view that you're looking at the screen, and kind of clicking on a camera that you capture the view, like from a normal camera. That's how it works. So in this case, we're looking at this 3D view from this perspective, and anytime we capture that camera key, it will register that in that specific second that we're clicking on. And if you wanted to move that camera to a different orientation, what we're going to do is we're going to move the timeline first, and then, for example, to time second. And here, in this case, let's rotate our annotation cube on this side, for example, another perspective, isometric perspective. And if you capture that view, like in here, and if you play that animation, Envision is going to fill between and from 0 second to second 2, it will simulate between those two in terms of the motion. One thing that if you realize, we had some colors in our model, and because we didn't register the color key, Envision actually neutrals that, and you go to the gray default colors. So to be able to honor that color, I'm just going to do lots of undos in here to be able to go back to my colors that I have in this model to show you guys. Let's go back. Let's do exit so we don't save the changes. So this was my start point in this case. And if you go to the 3D edit mode again, And this time, once we are in the animation mode, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to register the colors of the model, of our model. To do that, we're going to do Control A to select all the parts, because majority of my parts in this model have colors. As you guys can see, the add keys icon, if you drop down that little arrow next to it, you have color key, opacity key, as well as color key and the opacity key, or any kind of neutral keys that you can register in this view. The color key understands the color, define colors, it, added to that model while we're visualizing it inside of Envision, or if the model came with the color codes that are already embedded from the major CAD application, Envision also recognizes those, but you need to register them in the animation timeline using the color key in the beginning of your animation. So we're going to just add the color key to honor those colors. And in this case, in this step that I'm creating, just showing some parts to build the assembly of the base of our model, I basically I selected group of parts and I created a selection set. As you guys can see at the bottom, I have these parts that are selected. And to make a grouping in Canvas Envision, you select the parts and click on the Create Selection Set. And you can give it a specific name in here to be able to create that selection set. Okay, so if I just cancel that, so you guys can see in the step 1A, I have these parts that are visible, and those are the only parts that I'll be working. In Envision, we do not, during the animation timeline, we do not make the parts visible, invisible. We basically guide the parts with visibility using the keys as well as the effects we have in the timeline. So to make the other parts disappear, I'm going to basically select the other parts besides the step 1A parts, everything else. And I'm going to use the opacity key to take them. Just give me 1 second. Go ahead. Basically select all the parts in here. And then actually, let's do this. Select the step 1A parts, and then what you could do, make them visible. And then if you select those in here and then right click, actually you can go to the visibility and say invert visibility, and the other parts will be visible. And then you could do Control A. And with that, you can use the opacity key, add opacity, and then make those parts that we want them to be opaque, which is we wanted to make them 0% because we want them not to be visible. And then my apologies, I think I add the opacity key before I add it. Now, while there is 0%, now we add the opacity key. Those parts will be non-visible. So if we go ahead and turn on our step 1, these parts will be visible in our view, which are 100%, and the rest will be 100% opacity. So that's the opacity key that we registered in here. And let's put also our camera key from this perspective. And now, like we did in a previous example, we're going to move our timeline to second 0, second, and we're going to rotate our, let me just make this opacity 100%, add opacity key, perfect. And then let's move this to second 0. And then here, now we're going to rotate our, cube to another isometric view, maybe kind of like 45 degrees. And we're going to add a camera key in here. And if you play this, like you guys can see, Canvas Envision is going to fill the between those two, second 0 to second 2. And then second 4, we're going to do another rotation. Let's complete that 360-degree rotation so we could see the subassembly from every perspective. And register the camera key over here. And then let's do one more. You could define the keys in any environment from any seconds that you're looking for, maybe shorter timeline or longer timeline. That's completely up to the creator. And now let's register another camera key. One thing let's work on together. This time I'm going to select some parts. For example, the bar, as well as the hexagonal. Actually, to select the hexagonal nuts, let's click on select by instances. And if you click on one, and then basically click all three of them, as well as this, and those three, let's use the FX in here. Let's do fade out from 0, kind of like, second 6 to second 8, which is approximately correct. And you can also type in here to force it to 6 to 8. From 100% opacity to 0% opacity, those parts will be disappearing, and the other parts will stay. So if I play my animation, you guys can see those parts will slowly fade away, and we will have these two parts staying behind. And let's select this part and do one more time, fade out. And then you guys can see we can change the opacity in here, start opacity and opacity as well. But now if I play this as well, that part will also disappear. So now if you wanted to use that part that we kind of just made it disappear, we can simply find from our selection set. And then once that is selected, now we can actually change the location to it. Let's select that timeline that we have in here while that disappeared. Let's put a location key while that it is coming from for example, the top section to where it's getting positioned to. To create that view, we're going to do a linear explode, so it's on the right axis, the movements that we're doing. For example, a little bit more up. Again, it's right now it doesn't view in the animation, but it will slowly appear from 10 second to, for example, 12 second once we add the location key coming from the top, and also the effect fading in. We can also do in here a rotate as a flash. So in between that second to the 12 second, we can also have color flashing. Now let's change the location right now, and then let's push that part to its neutral position, and let's actually play it. Let's go all the way back and play this animation so you guys can see those parts will be moving, and then the opacity is changing. That part is slowly moving up.